Yes. Girl, okay. God, not bad. Okay. That's all I have to show for my sophomore year sketchbook. Let's move on. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie, the co-founder and the designer of KESTAN. Now today I have a special guest on my channel, and that is my old work from Parsons. Now I was cleaning out my place and I found a bunch of these sketchbooks, and you can tell this is like legit like reacting to them because there is a fine layer of dirty dust on top of everything. I did not show these sketchbooks the respect that they are deserved. But I thought it'd be kind of fun in case you're interested in what kind of work a fashion design student does at Parsons, or in case you're interested in the progression of a designer's work. Regardless, I have my sketchbooks. I'm gonna do a little bit of reacting to them. For those of you who are new to the channel, I graduated from Parsons School of Design. I have a bachelor in fine arts with a specialization in womenswear. So that is what we'll be looking at today. So let's get started. So my sketchbooks start at sophomore year because you don't actually declare a major until sophomore year. Freshman year is what I call the gen eds of fine art. So I did things like woodworking, metalworking, illustration, digital, stuff like that. And then once you kind of like get a taste for everything, then you can kind of figure out what you really want to do with your life. For me, I still wanted to do fashion. So that's where my fashion career begins, with my sophomore year sketchbook. So let's see what my first project is in here. Yes, I remember this project now. So this is like the first project that I ever did in a fashion class, and it's pretty standard. You pick a mood, a theme, you do sketches, and you make clothing out of it, so on and so forth. So I was going through this phase where I was trying to be like mysterious. I was trying to be, you know, dark and troubled. And I ended up picking an enchanted forest as my theme. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that you can do anything you want as an artist, right? Any theme is valid and valuable. But as, you know, a mature designer now, I do think that the way you execute the theme does matter in terms of how effective your work is. I don't even have a proper mood board. I literally have like 4 pictures of a forest. I don't even know where this forest is. Girl, okay, so we're gonna pretend that I have more information. Next, I have my croquis and then my fabric swatches. Okay, purple. Purple was happening. I remember this. So, you know, I was trying to be a women's wear designer. When I first went to school, I actually wanted to do evening wear. So I was trying to do like gowns and stuff, but these look like costumes to me. There's definitely a progression. So, you know, for my first ever fashion project, not bad, but you know, I think there's definitely growth that can happen here. And like I said, there's no good work or bad work. I think it's more about just like what your goals are and how you executed them, and costumes were happening. Next, I have notes here from, this is studious Stephanie now. I was taking a lot of notes on my pattern making classes. So we would do like fashion design first, and afterwards we had a pattern maker come in and would give us like pattern making classes on how to sew stuff. So this is like pretty standard stuff. It's me talking about like how to make darts, how to make bodices, turtlenecks, stuff like that. So that's kind of standard. But it's kind of interesting because I was trying to take fashion design class as if I was like doing like regular school. So I was like trying to take notes and stuff, but what you realize later in the end is it's so physical that it's more of like a practice skill. You can't really like take notes and learn how to do it. Next, I see a lot of desert images. I genuinely don't remember what this project is. There's a lot of skulls. Oh my God. Okay, so I definitely evolved a lot in terms of my drawing style. So the way that I used to do croquis is way different than how I do croquis now. And I remember this, they would kind of like press you to do a lot of drawing really fast, really frequently, because they wanted you to just get used to drawing. And the way I interpreted that was, let's just try to do the minimal work. So yeah, some of these croquis, no legs, you know, no arms. Like an egg head. So maybe sophomore Stephanie was a little bit lazy, you know, but I wouldn't even say lazy, I was efficient. I was efficient at getting my homework done because I had a lot of homework to do. All right, let's see, next I have some photos of leather. Oh, yes, okay, I took an accessories class. So I knew I wanted to do women's wear, but I was still kind of like experimenting. You know, Parsons has a lot of great electives. You can take like knitting, you can take accessory design, shoe design, tailoring. I wanted to try accessory making. I like handbags and stuff. Look, I have no idea why these photos here exist because there's no project after them. So I guess I was just like scrapbooking in my sketchbook. But here I have like a handbag design that I was doing. There's like these little mini swatches. In case you notice, the reason why the leather swatches are so small compared to the fabric ones is because leather is expensive. So they cheap out. They give you like 1 centimeter worth of fabric and I'm supposed to remember what that looks like. But yeah, I think I was trying to do like purses and stuff and God, this was like genuinely like, I did this class and it was hard. It was genuinely hard because what people don't realize is when you're sewing with like leather and stuff, it's different than fabric. Leather is a hide and it stretches. So I remember I measured out my piece and I was making a handbag that was supposed to be like a foot wide, and when I was done sewing, it was like 2 feet long. And then I had to tell my teacher I made a duffel bag when I was trying to make a tote bag, and he knew. He like looked at me and he was like, tote bag. I don't remember what this project is, so I don't know what was happening, okay? I think Stephanie was having an interesting moment sophomore year because previously I had a project that was just a mood board but no sketches, and now I have sketches and no mood board. But judging by the way the drawings are done, this involves something furry. Interesting. Then I have some more empty page. Okay. I have pictures of a vacation that I took, but then no work. So I guess this is just also a scrapbook. So this is the beach. No homework, just more empty pages. And let's see what else is here. Next I have, I think this was my final for sophomore year. So these are a bunch of my, oh look at me saving space. I'm also an engineer. This I think was like a final project. So at this point you can tell I was probably like end of the semester. I think I was stressed, and you can tell that because there are no faces on any of my croquis. The moment you see no faces on people's croquis, that means you're pretty much done. And you know, I think that's really it for sophomore year. Accessory design in here, my women's wear design. I don't think there's anything else. I don't finish sketchbooks. I'm just that kind of person. And I have 1/2 of a pattern piece. And that's all I have to show for my sophomore year sketchbook. Let's move on. All right, so now I have my junior year sketchbook, and you can definitely tell that by junior year, past Stephanie was getting a little bit more studious, judging by how ripped up the spine of my sketchbook is. This bad boy has been through a lot. It's, you know, 95% because I was a lot more inspired. I was working a lot harder, and also 5% because I was carrying this like freaking 2-foot tall book in the subway and like smacking people out of the way with it. So that could also contribute to the battle wounds. Now let me take a look here. I remember what I did for junior year kind of, but I haven't looked at my book in a really long time. Okay, so I remember this project. So junior year is something called pre-thesis. It's something where we're practicing going through the motions of our thesis collection. So critically thinking about a theme for our collection, getting inspiration, finding references, sketching, making clothes. This one I was inspired by like a bunch of really tall buildings in Hong Kong that are grouped really closely together. And not only was I looking at it visually, but I was also inspired by the concept of space. You can tell, I can tell like looking in my sketches that I did a lot more research for this project. Like not only did I do a lot more visual research, but I also started making these kinds of little sewing samples. And this is something that I started doing because by this point in my, you know, student career, I had like 3 or 4 internships under my belt. And by this point I had actually already worked Fashion Week, so New York Fashion Week. And by working it, I mean I was working underneath an actual designer, and kind of seeing the progression of what it looks like to create a collection, have it shown on a runway, and the really deep critical thinking that a lot of designers do when they're creating collections. A lot of times people think it's just like, you know, fantastical and it's fun, and it is. It's super fun. Like, I love fashion. Fashion is fun. But a lot of designers, they have really deep themes that they do a lot of research on, and I was aspiring to be like that. You know, I had seen it, I could taste it, and I wanted to be part of that story making. I can tell that I had seen that, and I was trying to implement that into my own work now, junior year. So I did a lot of visual research. I can tell I'm asking myself questions in my sketchbook, things like, what does space mean? And the relationship, okay, I know. Listen, I'm still in college, so you're still trying to be like, you know, very like, ooh, deep thinker, but at least I was trying, and that's what matters the most. And I will tell every fashion student, at least you're trying, right? If you don't try it, you don't know. And then here you can also tell I'm doing a lot more sketching out. So that's also something that's really important. Even now when I'm working in my own brand, like, I swear, like, you can do like 50 sketches and like one of them is nice, and you're just like, with that kind of ratio, you just gotta keep drawing, and you can tell that I was doing that. And I'm also doing something here where I'm taking one theme and I'm doing like 10 sketches off of one theme, because you're only gonna end up with 1 or 2 croquis that look all right. I have more, oh gosh, these little fabric swatches I'm creating. So here you can tell I'm also trying to come up with different concepts for different finishings and stuff. So this is really fun. I actually like this kind of tactical work. It's a lot more interesting for me. It's really creative. So you can tell I have the swatch and then the design that's based off of that. So that's super, super fun for me. And then here, okay, so here you can tell I'm getting tired. Because I used to do that, like, you'll see like rows and rows of sketches, and then what I'll do, this is a hot tip for any fashion students out there. If you need to fill up your sketchbook, do like 1 or 2 croquis, like really huge on your page, and then it takes up a lot of space, and then you're like, yeah, you can tell your professor, like, yeah, I did like 10 pages last night, but it's like 10 croquis. So hot tip, keep that in mind. But yes, I was getting tired by this point. It was also, I remember at this point, I was regretting getting such a big sketchbook, because I had classmates, I know what you're up to. They would come to school and then their sketchbooks were like this big. And then yes, of course it's easy to fill up like 40 pages if your sketchbook was this big. I show up with this giant thing and it was impossible. It was impossible to fill it up. But yes, more swatches here. I like this, you know what? Who knows, maybe KESTAN, spring 2022, right? Fall, winter 21, you might see some of this. These ideas, they're not bad. They're just, you can tell it's a student's work. Here we have a colorway, and good job, Stephanie. You picked multiple colors in your colorway. If you watch the beginning of the video, my first project, it was just purple. Everything was purple. Here I learned there's more than one color in the color wheel. So blues, and then I do reference colors off of photos, so I have that. And more sketches. Okay, here I try coloring, rendering in my croquis. That's not bad, that's not bad. You know what, like looking back on this, I'm getting a little sentimental, and you know, I'm proud of my work. And I think that's something that, you know, as designers, I think sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. You want to look at your old work and tell yourself that you're terrible. But there's a difference between bad work and growth. You know, just because you've grown from where you were, that doesn't negate the value of your old work. So I'm really proud of myself, because I can tell, even looking back on this, I can tell that I was trying to push my own personal boundaries as a designer. I was trying to think about a concept, work through it. I was very three-dimensional. I have my sketches, I have these cute little fabric swatches. You know, it's decent work. And in here I can see I have photos where I was actually physically manipulating muslin. So that's our fabric that we use to make samples out of. Not bad. This makes me miss school a little bit. You know, this is really fun. Yeah, you know what? All in all, I'd probably say I'm pretty happy with my old work. I'd probably say my professors were happy with my work because I graduated. And not much to say. This is kind of fun. You know, maybe I'll do a video on my thesis because this is kind of interesting to go back and look in time. All right, so how would I sum up all of my old work? I'd probably say, yes, there was growth. And you know what, it's fun to kind of look back on your old stuff, to poke a little bit of fun at it, but at the end of the day though, like, you should have, you know, grown from your old work. So it's okay to sometimes look back and be like, I cannot believe that 17-year-old Stephanie did an entire collection of purple ball gowns. Would I do that again? Probably not, but I'm glad that I did it because now I know that I will never be an evening wear designer. And like I said before, there should be growth. I'm glad there's growth. I'm proud of all of my work, even my weird faux edgy stuff. And a lot of that has informed who I am today as a designer. So that's it. That's a little bit of my old work. Stick around, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media, and I will probably do another video on my senior thesis. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.